Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this Thursday, the 15th of June, 2023. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Biden is holding firm on Ukraine joining NATO. Well, if you guys remember when this war started, that's one of the big points for Russia was that they did not want Ukraine to join NATO. And years before this war started, I pointed this out about this thing, about NATO, Ukraine joining NATO, and how this was angering Russia. And well, the war's ongoing, and there's an awful lot of other news going on that's diverting people's attention away from the war. One of the big stories is about Trump, and it's diverting people's attention away from what's going on with this war. Now, meanwhile, what's happening is Russia is moving nuclear weapons into Belarus. White Russia. I used to call it White Russia. And right up to the border, places like Poland, And what's this saying? Grammarly, they says use generative AI to help you express ideas faster. Try now. Just popped on my screen. I don't want it. I don't want AI. Anyway, listen, guys. So that interrupted my train of thought here because that thing popped up on the screen about AI. I might talk about AI a little bit in my show, Anyway, this war in Ukraine, it's one of the things that could trigger a much wider war, and possibly even if a much wider war is triggered, it could possibly extend into nuclear. It's very dangerous situations going on in the world, and most people aren't taking notice of it. Most people do know about it, but they're not paying any attention to it. They're just living their lives, in other subjects here. Now, remember the Pennsylvania freeway collapsed there? It's on my show a couple days ago. I find this fascinating, the fact that they're using recycled glass nuggets to rebuild the collapsed interstate. Tons and tons. It says Philadelphia, Pennsylvania will truck in 2,000 tons of lightweight glass nuggets to help quickly rebuild collapsed sections of the Interstate 95 in Philadelphia. And crews will work 24 hours a day until they can reopen the critical commercial artery. Recycled glass. This is really amazing. And I think it's a novel way of fixing a freeway. I gotta give them kudos, and they're getting it fixed quick with this recycled glass. That's good. Now in Germany, there's a doom loop going on in Germany right now. Germany has massive deindustrialization problems. In Germany, it says on which it is in denial. So the Germans are in denial, but they got massive problems in Germany right now. It says they've got massive problems going on. They're Germany is an industrial center for Europe. And if problems start to happen in Germany, like's happening right now, it's going to extend into the rest of Europe as well. I'm going to tell you guys, just between you and me, ever since 2020, it's getting faster and faster. The stuff's coming at us quicker and quicker. And it's getting to be almost impossible to keep up with all the bad news that's happening out there. Quite seriously. And we are talking about not small events. We're talking about big stuff happening. It's very concerning to me what's happening in the world right now. I can't think of a period I grew up during the Cold War. I remember what it was like. It wasn't like this. this is going above and beyond as far as the war in Ukraine and the war that's trying to get started over there in Taiwan, and how two superpowers now are getting ready to clash. Also, the financials. What's happening in this overburdened financial system that's on the verge of collapse. And there's a lot more, too. Weather? The weather's just gone absolutely haywire. And it's going to get a lot worse. There is a possibility of it's like I heard it on the news that freezing is more of a potential danger than the heat even. And I mean, what if the power goes out? All these northern cities, and they get this Arctic thing, this blast in the wintertime. What happens? You know, I think if we get some sort of a shift disaster, a SHTF, if we get some sort of a thing like that, you know what it's going to look like to the average person out there? You're just going to wake up some morning and you're not going to know what happened. Your power's not going to be on. Your cell phone's not going to work. Everything's going to be dead. As far as your modern, what they call modern convenient lifestyle. And you're not going to have any news of what happened while you were sleeping. You're not going to know what happened. And so what you're going to think is you're going to think, hey, you know what? The power should come back on in a couple hours. I got to find out why the power's out, because I want to make my coffee this morning or whatever. I want to make some toast and coffee, and the power's out. We got to find out why, and your neighbors aren't going to know, and you're not going to be able to tune in to find out what happened. And you're going to think it's going to come on in a couple days, or at least in a few hours. And then when it doesn't come on, then you're going to start to get more concerned, and you're going to want to know why, and you're not going to be able to find out why. You might run into things like traffic jams and stuff. Everybody trying to get out to find out why or whatever, and things going on like that. It's just going to be an unusual situation, but it's going to start out slowly and progress into something like you've never seen before. So when it first starts, you're just an SHTF. That's how it's going to look. It's just going to look like a normal day. With the exception is you got no news and no way to get news. And you might not ever get news of what actually happened. Ever. We've built a house of cards. Humanity, I mean, is built. I haven't built it. You haven't built it. Our political structures built it. They've built a house of cards. And when a house of cards falls, it falls all at once, unexpectedly. This is a very dangerous world we're living in now. And you guys, I admonish you guys to prepare and not to give up on preparing. Not to think, oh, this is going to go on forever. It's going to go on forever. No, it's too fragile to go on forever. And it's too unsustainable to go on forever. This is really a bad situation mankind in general put themselves in, with a society that's built on sand. It's not built on a good foundation. It's built on quicksand. And yeah, I'm amazed that it functions right now, the way it is right now. I'm amazed it functions as well as it does function. But the way it's set up, when it ceases to function, it's just going to go into chaos, and nobody's going to be able to straighten it out and get it back functioning again. It's once chaos breaks out. I mean, I'm not talking about in a small area, like when you get a hurricane or a flood, or you get some sort of a natural disaster, or a small area goes down, and the rest of the world comes into that area and starts to like we were right here when we had the hurricane a few months back. I knew what it was, but I was in the dark, not able to get any news. My cell phone didn't work. My internet didn't work. My power was turned off, but I knew what caused it, see? I knew it was a hurricane because we knew the hurricane was coming days in advance, and then we had to ride out the storm. So I knew what it was. But when the shift comes and the SHTF comes, you're not going to know what it was, know what it is. You're not going to have a definitive answer to what caused it. See, I knew what caused that. But I had days, no cell phone service. You turn on your cell phone, it just says emergency calls only. And you can't get an internet connection either with it. It just doesn't work. And I mean, my car worked though. And if we get an EMP, your cars aren't even going to work. Nothing will work. And you know, that's probably, if there's a nuclear war of some sort, that's probably what they're going to resort to, is EMPs. Anyway, listen guys, I'm getting off topic a little bit. I wanted to get back to the news. AI poses a threat to democratic order, the president of Germany says. German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier has warned about artificial intelligence turning into a threat to democracy, calling for better digital literacy among the public to be able to identify AI manipulated content. Oh boy, I'm going to tell you, with the AI they got now, AI can simulate any person's voice so that you cannot tell. You could be talking to an AI on the phone, and you would think like maybe it's your mother or your sister. It sounds just like them. And it even can communicate to you like it was, and you would be sure that you're talking to them on the phone. Just think of what thieves and stuff can do with something like that. And now the thieves of the world, the criminal element, is probably going to get a hold of AI. And none of us will be safe because, you know, I mean, you all are familiar with your inbox or for your email, and just constant spam coming in from these crooks out there that are just constantly trying to break into your bank account or whatever. They'll send a letter, it looks like it's from your bank, all addressed and everything. It looks like it's from your bank, and it'll say, we've closed your account or whatever to your bank. And you're like, oh wow, my bank account's closed. You go in there and it says, you got to send us your information in order for us to reopen your account or whatever. You know, they're scammers. They're trying to get information from you. And they might even give you a phone call on the phone and pretend to be the police or whatever. Now that they have AI technology, oh boy, this is going to be a boon for them. Look out. And what about the media? And what about the news? Everything. How are we going to know that what we're looking at is not AI generated? I mean, they already went through this in Russia just a week or two ago with a fake Putin coming on telling the people stuff that wasn't true, but it was AI generated. When you get AI out there, this is one of the problems it could generate that we're not familiar with, that could be on us in a matter of months. Seriously, these problems could crop up from AI. And I mean, law enforcement might not be able to handle it because it might be going on so ongoing. You got to start to already think about things like this. Think, hey, you know what? We could be spoofed by AI, and it could be in any number of ways. It could come in, and you just don't realize it could be used by the criminal element for their success against your success. In other words, the criminal element would be thinking about getting your money and using AI to do it. And this is not something that's way off in the future. This is just months away probably before the criminal element starts, because they're always on top of things ahead of everybody else. AI could be a potential real hazard for humanity in that direction, you know. Now, what else did I want to talk about this morning? Silver price today, you know. We're looking at down 44 cents. No reason for it whatsoever. Silver's been used as money all the way through world history. Excuse me. And the real money. Silver's the real money, the people's money. Measured in ounces. It's real, exists in the real world. This fake cartoon world we got going right now is going to come down. And when people always have to have commerce. They will form new commerce. If the world comes down to its knees, if you wake up some morning and we're into a shift disaster, it'll only last for a little while, and during that period in time, food would be the money. But eventually mankind will regroup. That's if we survive this thing. We will regroup, and we'll form a new society. And it might be, God knows what kind of world we would be in, but I imagine that we're going to go back to silver and gold as money. Because it's the real money, it's been the real money all along. But what have they been doing? Knocking the price down. You can see the price knockdowns generally always occur and when the New York NYMEX is going on here, the the COMEX, that's the timing, of the knockdowns and stuff. Taking a look at gold today, gold is down $4.50 at 1937. Now cryptocurrency's been taking a beating, and it's continuing to take a beating. It's almost ready to go down under $1 trillion industry. Bitcoin price of 24,917, and Ethereum at 1636. Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 232 points on the day at 33,979. Taking a look at crude oil at 68.96. It's up 59 cents. Bonds and rates today. We're looking at fallen yields. 3.6. It's fell 3.6 basis points on the U.S. 30-year at 3.84. And the U.S. 10 years at 3.75, and it's fell 4.5 basis points today so far. And the U.S. dollar index is at 102.88. Thank you guys for listening to my show. You guys are awesome. And I have faith in you guys. No matter what we have happen, you guys are probably the ones that's going to survive. Your neighbors, they probably got no food in their house, no water, and they haven't prepared for anything, and they don't know any of this stuff's going on. They're ignoring all of it. They're just too busy for everything else that they're doing to pay any attention. So what's going to happen is this is going to blindside them when the real trouble comes. They're going to be blindsided. Your neighbors probably will be. Yeah, you might be in the dark too. Maybe your cell phone won't work either. Maybe you won't be able to get any news off the proper normal channels, the internet, because the internet's down and stuff. But you'll break out your shortwave radio that operates on batteries. And you'll be sitting there listening to whatever news broadcasts are still available. And so you'll find out what happened, and you'll have a heads up on them. But not only that, you're probably still going to have food in your house. You might be eating canned food that day, and you might be drinking bottled water. But what about your neighbors? They're going to be going dry and hungry because they weren't paying any attention, and they're not going to know what's going on. So they'll make mistakes connected to them not knowing what's going on. Big mistakes that might cost them big. Like they might drive off to find out what's going on, using up their gas or whatever. What little bit, and they probably only got less than a quarter tank left because they didn't plan ahead. Now you'll have a full tank of gas in your car. And you'll probably have a couple spare gas cans in the back shed full of gas so you can refill your car yourself. Because you're a prepper. What are they? They're woke and they know what's going on. They don't really. No, they don't really know what's going on. Because they think that they know everything. They think that they're awake to everything. But the real reality is their senses have been dulled and they haven't been keeping up. And they don't realize that this world has been slowly disintegrating under their feet. And you realize that it's been disintegrating because you've been paying attention. Not just to my show, but dozens of other shows out there that are telling you, hey, you know, something's wrong here. Something doesn't smell right in Denmark. Something, I don't know. Something's, can't you guys feel it? Something's not right. There's just constant barrage of things going wrong. And troubles in the world right now. That we're in what they call interesting times, but it's even worse than that. I would actually label it end times. And if you can't feel it, then you're in the category with these other people, the neighbors over there, who they don't know. They're not in tune with what's actually happening out there right now. The world is caught in a doom loop right now. And you guys are the guys that are figured it out, and you want more information. And you're planning and preparing. This is very serious, what's going on right now. And you guys know it's serious. And you know I know it's serious. And that's why I've been doing these shows. Because when I started doing these shows, there was not that much wrong, but I sensed it. The trouble was coming. And I started doing these shows. I sensed that we were going to have not only political problems, and I told you guys about it way back then. And now it's got progressively worse to where you guys are aware of it now, big time. But it's going to get a lot worse to where these people who think that they're woken up and think that they're awake, they will become aware of it in time, and then look out. When they know, when they all know, and everybody knows, and everybody's panicking, that's not the time to prepare. You got to get ahead of this thing. Thank you guys for tuning in. And, you know, I really appreciate my audience out there. I have a small audience, but they're very loyal. Thank you for tuning in. And if YouTube goes and somehow switches you off or something, switch back on and hit the notification icon. And we'll catch you guys in the next show, and have a great day. Bye-bye.